great to be back at the Things Conference again. I think I've been to every single one of these events over the years, and I stand on stage every time and I say exactly the same thing. And that is, when you walk around the hall outside, isn't it incredible? The range of different solutions, the quality of hardware, the maturity of the ecosystem grows year upon year upon year. And when you look at the quality of those solutions, it's very easy as an engineer to get really excited about the innovation, the development of new sensor types, of new applications. But I think it's really important to pause for a moment and ask, well, why does it all matter? Why is this so important? In very simple terms, as Ben said, what we call the IoT, the Internet of Things, or the Industrial Internet of Things, or all the other various names that we've come up with over the course of these years. The IoT is the best solution that we have come up with so far that help us align the economic goals of producing more from less in a cost-effective way, higher level of quality, delivered to customers in the condition that they need them, with the environmental goals of doing all of those things in a less harmful way. The IoT enables customers to avoid waste in the production process. It helps them manage the quality of their output, to reduce wastage of materials, to maximize profitability, to optimize distribution routes, and manage the condition of all of those products whilst they're en route, and to achieve their economic goals, whilst at the same time achieving the environmental goals that we so desperately need them to do as a society. Now, I think it's illegal now to stand on stage and talk about IoT without mentioning AI. I think there are some EU rules coming into that effect fairly soon. But we've all been watching very closely the explosion of interest in artificial intelligence and the corresponding explosion in market valuations as enterprise customers really start to realize the potential of AI to transform their businesses and the competitive risks they face if they fail to do so, as their competitors do. Now, fear is a great motivator. If you think about one of the differences between AI and the IoT, I don't know that anyone was frightened of the IoT. Whereas with AI, people have been able to experience hands-on what artificial intelligence can actually do, thanks to ChatGPT and other similar applications. They've been able to get a taste of the really potentially seismic changes that AI will introduce to pretty much every aspect of how we live, work, and play. And just like any other early stage technology, there's going to be some disillusionment. If you look at the cycle of IoT, we went through a few years of ridiculous hype. We hit a peak, everyone was disillusioned, and it crashed down. Sure enough, the same thing will happen with artificial intelligence. It'll probably happen sooner. You already start to see some of the softening in valuations in the marketplace today, while a little bit more realism sets in. And while I'm sure that that traditional tail-off in investor bullishness is going to hit us after the heady excitement of the last year or so, one thing is really certain, that building AI solutions is going to require more data from the physical world. And that's what the industrial IoT, the IoT, pick your name, that's what it does. And AI is really just the tip of the iceberg when you look at what's happening around us. It perhaps attracts the most publicity at the moment, and as I said, fear being a great motivator, people have been able to sample the AI firsthand. But today is overall a really explosive period of change. Of course, there's AI and there's machine learning, there's large language models that are currently used for interaction and ultimately are going to be used for more cognitive tasks. There are GPUs and RISC-V, which were kind of the peace dividend of the smartphone wars, if you like. They were both thrown out of that mess. There's gigabit 5G and soon to be 6G. I'm sure 7G will be talked about within a few months. There's deeply penetrating narrowband LoRaWAN, course. There's space-based networking. You can see several examples in the hall. with thousands of LEO satellites circling around the world, and geostationary satellites as well. You can reach over 30,000 miles from a LoRaWAN sensor today. There's energy harvesting, and there's an explosion of technologies centered on sustainability. And these technological, if I can say it, innovations are really converging. While a lot of the focus today is on generative AI, chatbots, and augmenting or replacing human or digital virtual work, the bigger prize lies in what will be an era of intelligent machines. Now, today, most of the world's infrastructure is powered by aging machines. These machines were built and designed by enterprises in the industrial age, and most of them were only modestly augmented for the information age. You look at infrastructure for energy production, distribution, delivery, water distribution, sanitation, logistics, refrigeration, HVAC, the list goes on. Industries which created and continue to drive human-caused climate change, and will drive us to the point of ecological collapse if we don't actually do something about it. With the integration of all of the technologies I talked about, we'll enable a new era of intelligent machines. And what I mean by that is every machine with embedded intelligence, not just cloud connected, not just sending data, but designed and reimagined with embedded intelligence and with an architecture that really fuses the edge and the cloud, where the intelligent machine and its services ultimately become one, together making up a managed enterprise edge, where data from the physical world is used to fundamentally transform both business and society, really enabling us to achieve that goal of producing more from less with the environmental goal of saving our world for future generations. And yet, despite all of this, and we've been talking about these things for a number of years now, AI has achieved more attention of late, but this is not a new set of technologies. Despite all of this, all of the value we can unleash by making the machines around us intelligent, today the same old basic problems continue to impede customers' ability to build and to deploy connected intelligent devices. Despite massive advances in the analytical tools, hardware platforms, wireless networks, the challenges of actually building devices that simply, scalably, and securely connect to the cloud in an economically viable way continues to defeat our customers on a daily basis. In an era where we should see accelerating growth, and if you think about the climate challenges that we face across many of the industries I was talking about, this should be rapid growth. We actually see decline. And honestly, a lot of that is down to us. It's actually the folks in this room and the wider ecosystem that we call the IoT. We built a vast range of tools that target the different challenges in building or using IoT solutions. An ever-increasing array of wireless options to connect devices, a bewildering range of hardware choices, software platforms that purport to provide everything a customer might need. But the problem is, when we built these toolkits, we were very often thinking about specific challenges from our perspective, not the customers. We were trying to differentiate so we could attract investment to go build our dreams. And we were thinking more about how we could make money and how we would survive in this new world than we were sometimes about the actual problem that customers were trying to solve. And worst of all, and I say this having been involved in the development of 2 IoT platforms, worst of all, we made the industrial IoT an island with separate platforms, separate from the rest of the enterprise internet, its own special little world. And if we'd actually listened to customers, if we'd asked them what they needed, they would have told us all along that the industrial IoT would never work as an island, that connected sensors were always just another set of devices, like PCs and servers and phones, that needed to become part of the managed enterprise edge, simply connected rather than a separate internet all of its own right, supported by separate platforms requiring special tools and special knowledge to work. And if you listen closely to customers today, they'll tell us that what they need to take advantage of these new technologies, to improve efficiency, to stay current and competitive in their marketplaces, to build this new era of intelligent machines, and to produce more from less. And what customers have consistently told us is that they want simpler tools that allow them to focus on the solution, the value of that solution, and not the cost of development. Tools that do the work of integrating multiple radios or integrating compute at the edge to support the new generation of edge AI models. Tools that are optimized for power efficiency and have renewable power out of the box. And tools that address the commercial and the business challenges involved, like managing the cost of multiple types of connectivity and cloud providers with a single bill, or better still, no bill at all. And customers want tools that are easy to integrate. Customers want the freedom to choose the best tools for different jobs without paying a huge integration tax or being locked in. And above all else, customers don't want their industrial IoT tools to be an island. They want to be able to manage them as an extension of their managed enterprise edge, subject to the same expectations of security, the same expectations of manageability and visibility as everything else. And in all of this, the onus on us as an industry is to build responsibly. If we ever are to get close to the many hundreds of billions of devices that are forecast by the analysts, if we don't do so in an environmentally responsible way, we will undo the good that those solutions are able to deliver. If we're to avoid adding millions of tons of e-waste to our already overflowing landfills, we have to build to last. We have to build tools that provide customers with an easy path to updating devices when networks sunset or new networks become available. Tools that integrate the best of knowledge around sustainable materials and energy sources for those customers. And we must build with a circular economy as a goal, thinking through each of the devices that we build, each of their life cycles, from cradle to grave, to ensure we're not making the problem worse. And so, I'd say to you all, we stand on the edge of an era of intelligent devices, one which has the potential to align the human profit motive, which is not going to go away, and the climate goals we must achieve. One that has to succeed if we're to survive as a species, faced with things that we must fix in our industry if we're to be successful. The first and the most important of all is we need to become customer obsessed. We're all to one degree or another engineers. Our customers are not. It is imperative that we go to them and ask them what they really need and then deliver it. And much of the delay in the IoT has been caused by our failure to do that. We need to focus ruthlessly on delivering solutions that are easy to integrate, simple to use, and readily accessible without specialized knowledge. Solutions that take care of the hard work of integrating hardware, of making the hardware work. Solutions that seamlessly integrate hardware like edge compute, software and services to enable new solutions and allow customers to actually focus on the value they can deliver from their solution rather than the development effort required to get there. We need to make enterprise IoT a good enterprise citizen, subject to the same expectations around security, manageability, and data privacy as any other data source. And we need to accept that the strategy of building separate island-like industrial IoT platforms has failed and has to end. And we need to do all of this responsibly, designing for longevity, using sustainable materials and design practices, designing for a circular economy where planning for the device end of life is as important as planning for implementation. And above all else, we need to design for interoperability, so the different tools that we all build actually work together. And I always like to steal Vinke and Johan's favorite phrase, we need to build this thing together. Thank you.